So, let's talk about a name you've probably heard a million times in the tech world, Azure DevOps. But what is it actually? In the next few minutes, we're going to cut right through the jargon and show you what it is, how it works, and maybe, just maybe, why it's the solution your team has been desperately looking for.
All right, let me ask you something, especially if you've ever been in the trenches of a software project. Does it ever feel like you're trying to conduct an orchestra where every musician is in a different building, reading from a different sheet of music? Yeah, that kind of chaos can bring a project to a screeching halt.
And what does that chaos actually look like in the real world? Well, it probably looks familiar. You've got siloed teams where developers and operations don't really talk. You're juggling a dozen different tools that absolutely refuse to work together. Nobody can give you a straight answer to the simple question, hey, are we on track? And the master plan for the whole project? Oh yeah, that's buried in version 17 of a spreadsheet somewhere on a shared drive. This is the problem we're here to solve. So, right, how do you fix all that? How do you bring some sanity back into the picture? Well, you need a single, integrated platform where everything and everyone can finally work together. And that, my friends, is exactly where Azure DevOps steps in. Okay, so what is it really? The best way to think about it is like a single, unified workbench for your entire software team. It's a suite of connected services from Microsoft that handles the whole shebang, from that first spark of an idea to writing the code, all the way to getting it out the door and into the hands of your users. Everything and everyone, all in one place.
Now, to really wrap your head around it, we need to look at the 5 core services that make the whole thing tick. Think of them as the 5 essential tools in your software development toolkit. Let's break them down one by one.
All right, first up, Azure Boards. This is basically your project's command center. It's where you do all the planning and tracking. It uses popular methods like Agile and Kanban, which are really just smart ways to organize your work to let you create tasks, track down bugs, and just see the entire project's progress with a quick glance.
So what does that look like in practice? Imagine a team building a new feature for a mobile app. With Boards, they can map out every single piece of that feature on a digital board that everyone can see. This means everybody, from the newest developer to the project manager, knows exactly what's being worked on, who's working on it, and what's coming up next. Okay, tool number 2, Azure Repos. You can think of this as the high-security vault where all of your project's code lives. It uses Git, which is the industry standard for managing code. But it's so much more than just storage. It's all about collaborating safely, using features like pull requests, which is just a fancy way of saying, hey team, can you please check my work before this gets added to the main project?
This means a developer isn't just going to, throw their new code into the main project and hope for the best. Nope. They'll work on their own separate branch, and when they think it's ready, they submit that pull request. This gives other team members a chance to review the code, catch potential issues, and make sure it's high quality. It's an absolutely critical safety net.
And that leads us perfectly into the real engine of this whole thing, Azure Pipelines. This service is all about automation. It automatically builds your code, tests it, and then deploys it. It's the powerhouse behind something called CI/CD, which stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Delivery. All that really means is creating a super efficient automated assembly line for your software.
Just picture it. A developer commits their code. The second they do, a pipeline just kicks off. Automatically, it compiles the application, runs a whole bunch of automated tasks, and if everything looks good, it pushes the new version to a test server. And this all happens in minutes, with 0 manual button pushing required.
But hey, we all know you can't automate everything, right? Some things need a human touch. And that's exactly where Azure Test Plans comes in. This is your dedicated toolkit for managing all your quality assurance work, whether that's running through detailed, step-by-step manual tests or doing more creative, exploratory tests.
So, for instance, a QA tester can use test plans to go through all the steps of a new user sign-up page. If they find a bug, they can log it right there and link it directly back to the original requirement in Azure Boards. This creates this perfect, crystal clear line of sight, meaning you can literally trace a bug all the way back to the original idea. No more mysteries.
And last but not least, we've got Azure Artifacts. This is your team's own private library. It's where you store all the reusable bits of code and components, or packages, that your projects depend on. Think of it like a secure, private warehouse for your software building blocks.
So let's say your company has a standard bulletproof way to handle user logins. Instead of every single team rebuilding that login code from scratch for every new app, you can package it up and put it in artifacts.
Now, any other team in the company can just pull that package into their project. It saves a ton of time and makes sure everyone is being consistent.
So there you have it, the 5 core tools. But, and this is the really important part, their real power isn't just what they do on their own. The real magic happens when they all start working together, creating this one seamless flow from start to finish.
You know, pretty much every software project follows the same basic path, right? You plan what you're going to build, you write the code, you build and test the thing, and then you deploy it. Azure DevOps was designed from the ground up to follow this natural rhythm.
And this is where it all just clicks into place. Each one of those services we talked about maps directly to a stage in that flow. You plan your work in boards, you write and manage your code in repos, you build and deploy with pipelines, you test it all with test plans, and you share your reusable components with artifacts. You see, it's not just a random collection of 5 tools, it's one single, unbroken chain from idea to launch.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. But the big question is, why? Why does this even matter? What's the real payoff for your team choosing this over, duct taping a bunch of separate tools together?
Well, for starters, you can get up and running in minutes because it's all in the cloud. No servers to set up. Microsoft handles all the updates and maintenance, so your team can just focus on building great software. It's built on Azure, so it's super reliable and can scale to any size. It's also incredibly flexible. It doesn't care what programming language or platform you use. But maybe most importantly, by putting everyone on the same page, it finally tears down those walls between development, operations, and the business side of things. And maybe the best part, the barrier to entry is, well, it's practically non-existent. For small teams of up to 5 people, the core services are completely free to use. This means you can get started, kick the tires, and see if it's right for you without spending a dime.
Hey, just a quick side note here. Everything we've been talking about is the cloud version, which is called Azure DevOps Services. There is also a version you can install on your own servers called Azure DevOps Server. The only real difference is who's in charge of the hardware, Microsoft or you.
So, with all this stuff happening, how do you keep track of it all? That's where dashboards come in. This is your project's mission control. You can create these awesome custom views to track everything in real time. Build statuses, test results, sprint progress, you name it. It gives everyone that single source of truth that is so hard to find.
And that pretty much wraps up our quick tour. We've seen how this one integrated platform can take the messy, complicated process of building software and give it some real structure and clarity. Which kind of leaves us with one final question to think about. Is it time for your team to trade all that chaos for some cohesion?